Hi YouTube, it's July 2024. Weapon ammo carrying capacities will reduce, with the default back's functionality of increasing ammo capacity being further improved to 25%. Weapon recoil kicks up slightly slower for a better field of impact with less screen jitter. The default barrel no longer absolutely destroys weapon spread to balance out with its previous aspect of lack of reloading. Default weapons now have a consistent spread value, with the default back also gaining spread resistance, offering immunity to the bloom effect when rapidly firing a weapon. This visual effect was also extended to weapons with consistent spread, since spread bloom has no effect on weapons with predetermined accuracy. A mysterious heat instability was also added to eligible items with the new special effects text load. This existed in the game for a while, but I just never told the player in any way. In case the player runs out of ammo while fighting a chaser on the ceiling, meleeing their projectiles while empty can now drop ammo. Boss jumpers now play different pitches to differentiate between their twin when split or spawning in pairs. Their audio now pitches higher during rage jumps and pause for longer after to make it easier for us to read the boss's current state during a fight. It is currently disabled for his build for a better first impression, but we do have a new boss finally in the works. Boss mechanics were decoupled off of our director, which allows us to have a greater control and more unique mechanics with every boss we add to the game. I want to be able to create unique fights and let my imagination run free with these. Enemy health now scales way more with leveling. Previous implementation had the director add health based on their level, only differing between enemies by their base health. A level 99 jumper with its 3 health would still maintain a 2 health point difference from a level 99 chaser with 5 health. Now we scale by 10% with each point off of our base 3 health, making for quite healthier opponents. I'm a little afraid of this change after we just weakened our attack with last Devlog, but this is where we're at for now. Damage numbers in this game naturally scale in size based on how they compare to our weapon's base damage. Attacks that did more damage are larger and smaller for weaker. One problem though is that attacks that won from weapons don't quite consider the full damage our weapon, such as a shotgun with its 8 pellets, hitting. Dealing 3 damage with a melee hit would be dealing triple damage over the 1 damage each of our pellets would be doing, making it feel way more massive when it should be more comparable to the 8 damage the full shotgun can deal. Acid pools left by boss jumpers used to inherit the full damage dealt by the boss, with an attack rate of 2 hits per second. This melts the player for not paying attention, adding a lot more danger and fear than just avoiding contact with the boss. But I think we'll finally come to terms with how absurdly powerful these are. Pools attack way faster with way more consistent follow-up since it doesn't knock you a mile away, so we've gone just half their damage entirely for now. Bosses now, instead of dropping weapon parts to swap on our current weapon, drop entire weapons. But we didn't just swap all our parts instead of one. We added multiple weapon support and gave the player an extra weapon slot from the start. The player can now earn more weapon slots by building strength. More muscle means more carrying power. Weapon items don't stick to specific weapons yet, but they do maintain their own ammo pools after each other. And last, have you noticed the player HUD looks a little different too? It's only a little subtle, but it turns out the 3D perspective effect I've been trying with that player display was being rendered by an orthographic camera that has no depth perception. I don't know how I made that mistake, or when I did, or why I did, but in any case I've tweaked the angles of our UI now that they properly distort for increased immersion of sorts, making for some kind of subtle change to the HUD. But some of this I think looks better, like our weapon stats.